Sudhir, we would be starting session in few minutes. Let the people join in. Till then, if anyone wants to share their experience of previous session, they can share it now. So anyone like
Cheat sheet us to share. Sir, what about the cheat sheet you told us to share on the group about the
Varun,
info?
Varun, we have even we would share the cheat sheet too, and one website also we would be sharing for you all to practice GitHub. We are currently in process. We are working on it. Like we have to manage lot of things together. So sorry for the delay, and we would
No
share
problem.
it for sure. We would be sharing soon, but today I think that my team would share it.
Okay, sir. No problem. Sir.
Yeah.
You can ask any question from the previous session also.
You guys can even tell us that if we something we skipped in our previous session, so that we can implement in further videos, further sessions. You can even tell us that.
Sir,
So
you told about the
Hello.
Gits.
yeah.
Sir, how it will reflect on GitHub? You didn't told that.
Oh my God.
Okay, sir.
Uh,
Hello.
yes.
Yeah. Can you share the YouTube link of the last session? Okay.
And guys, today also you have access to the chat. You can even post your query over here. Yeah. And before starting our session, we have some important announcements. So these announcements are like as follows. We would be giving certificates to those participants who would be attending our meeting till last. At the last, we would be sharing the link through which you can enter your details, and we would be then sharing certificates to those participants. So this is an important update. I guess that you have got it. So I would like to request Harsh to now start with the session. Harsh, could you hear me?
Yes, you're
Hello?
audible.
Uh, yes.
Can we get the session a little earlier if possible?
Actually, some are saying to get the session little late. Some are saying that it is fine the same time. And some are saying that we need to start it earlier. So, we would plan according to you in our next event. So currently we are following the same timings which we have set, so that it won't be in favor of anyone else. So we should continue with the official timings that we are going on.
Okay.
Hope you would understand. And Harsh, are you here?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah. So Harsh, you can continue with the session.
Or we will wait for 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay. From 9:10 we would be starting.
Yes.
Yeah. Fine. So guys, how many of you explored about GSOC yesterday?
I know.
Yeah. Sir, one will. Satyam, we would try to end the session before 10:30, but the main focus is to cover each and everything. So it may take little long, but we would try. So share your
I wanted to.
yes, yes.
Yesterday, I tried logging into GitHub,
Yes.
and for the student ID, you told us there are a lot of benefits. And since I'm a student, I wanted to make a student profile, but it kept asking me for an email generated by or issued by my college or school. So I don't have that, but I'm still a student. So how do I get that done? Actually, I had provided a picture where I was holding my ID card,
Oh,
but none of that. Okay. So what am I supposed to do? Okay. 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 Actually, there is no marksheet as of now. We have these OneView portals of AKTU. We have those marksheets, the online ones. So is it going to be valid? Thank you.
Okay, shall we start with the session?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So hi everybody. My name is Harsh Agarwal, and today with my another friend Ashish Pipra, we are going to share some knowledge about web development. Myself, Harsh Agarwal. I am currently a first year student of PSIT Kanpur. Also, I'm a campus ambassador at ProGate, and I have a good experience in web development and Alexa skill development. Our community is sponsored by ProGate and Coding Blocks. So thanks for them. So let's start the session. Web development. It's just a process of creating a website, as we all know. But the first thing came in our mind is why we are developing websites. Already there are billions of websites present on the server. So why we are making another website? So I'll give you an answer to all the questions. The first thing is that it creates a first impression of your business. When you start a business, you locally or exportly, you always find to show the thing. When you create a first impression of your business, it's help you to show it to your target audience. Because sometimes you are develop a website related to the Flipkart or a store market shop. So you can target your audience according to the website, and it also reflects your expertise in reputation. It is can be seen all over the world and also bring businesses from all over the world. Just from a website, you can take the orders and present your business to it. Call to actions. The first thing came in our mind is, does web development field gives a ample amount of money to the developers? I have a thing which I really want to share is that there's certainly a demand for web developers and a much larger one for affordable ones who can be productive from day one. Salaries are usually not equal to those advertised by the few who make it big, but they can be a decent also. So don't worry. I think it's still a rather young profession and it keeps evolving. You don't remain one for a long unless you show some kind of dedication. And in the screen, you can see a web developer job growth. As you can see from the past 10 years, the web development, the web developer salaries are growing, and it's never seen a down towards the peak. This is the work of the quarantine. As we can see, most of the web developers are having this type of faces, but it's not that true. The web development is divided in two components. The first is the front-end web developer, and the second is the back-end web developer. The front-end web developers can work on three most important parts. These are HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And I think you all are refer with their names as what they are doing, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Most of them have a question that Java or JavaScript, are they related? So I really want to say that there is no relation between Java and JavaScript. They both are different languages and they both have different functionalities. The second part is the backend web developer. It's a language which supports your entire backend system, which helps you to communicate with others. The backend web developers languages are PHP, Ruby, Python, Node.js, and Java. This is the work of a web designer, which we usually do in the company. This is the actual work. Most of the time you feel that you have created a great website, but when you communicate with your client, you feel that your works got degraded. But you have to work according to the client, not according to you. And this is the true story of a web developer. To develop a website, the first thing which pop-ups in everyone's mind is the web page. And the web page consists of different features. And the features are logo, colors, layout, typography, cross-browser, navigation, content, responsive. So let's discuss about each of them. The first thing is the logo. When you visit a web page, you always see a small logo of the company, which keeps in your mind always. You forgot the lines, you forgot the videos, but you never forgot the logo, as most of the companies are known by the logo only. The second is the color. One thing I want to say that most of the developers are getting placed on just on the use of the colors only. Most of the developers are good in color fetchings. Like we see that most of the photographers use different types of color techniques like pale green or pale yellow to attract the users. And that's why the colors are the important features of a web page. The third is the layout. Every device has a layout and every web page consists of different types of layouts, which also helps to communicate and also show a different web page to attract the user. The fourth is the typography. You all know that typography are the letters in the fonts which are used in the web page, which helps to attract the user. Fifth one is the cross browser. When you click on a box, you also see there is a change in the cycle of the browser. When you just click on a start button, the next web page opens. This is the technique which cross browser uses. Sixth one is the navigation. The more easy the navigation of the contents, the more is the web page good is. The seventh part is the content. The content should be decided according to the personality of the website you are using. How the features of all your website should be contained on it. The eighth part is the responsive. Your website should always be responsive. Like you can store the features of a login, or you can make a website which is related to a responsive, like a Flipkart website, Amazon, where you can do different types of things. This is the layout of a desktop, and this is 1024 into 768, which is the perfect size of the desktop. You will find this essential thing when you use the CSS. Now I will discuss the website layers. Your website is divided into 3 layers: content, presentation, behavior. The content, it is the body which every website is made on. The presentation is the outer skin of your website. It contains of all the fonts, different layers, different colors, different text. And behavior is the work on which you do with the help of the codes. I can explain it easily by seeing your next slide. This is the actual web design, where HTML work as a skeleton, JavaScript work as a flesh, which contains all the nervous system, which controls all your system, and CSS is the outer body of the website. The next is the HTML and CSS. Why we are learning this HTML and CSS and see this word every time when we have to move towards a web development? The reason behind is the 5 these topics which I have shown there. Learn before anything else. You cannot create a website without these 2 things, HTML and CSS. These are the building blocks of the web. Every website uses both. You cannot create a website without the use of HTML and CSS. You can use different backend, front-end languages. Nowadays, React is used for creating websites. Earlier, Ruby on Rails are used to create websites, but no one can change the HTML and CSS. It's easy and quick to learn. And the main part which makes it more effective is it's very responsive layout and it's easier to learn. It has a responsive layout system and are very important for developing a website. Now I will discuss, if anybody has any question and answer, can ask to me.
Hello. I want to say add a point to your discussion that for Bootstrap can replace both HTML and CSS because all the framework is in that.
Yes, you can use the Bootstrap, but most of the
about Bootstrap, like I use Bootstrap a lot, right? I started using Bootstrap, but then I realized that there is a problem with Bootstrap that your loading time increases. Like the size of the Bootstrap is around 1.5 like MB or something, 1500 KB something, right? So the loading time increases, and that's why you shouldn't use Bootstrap, right? It's a very long list of features, and you are just using a button, and then for that you are loading the complete Bootstrap. That's why you shouldn't use that.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, are we learning jQuery or React in this session?
Sorry, it cannot be possible to learn within the limited of a time. We are doing the session on HTML and CSS and a hands-on session on creating a web page.
Okay.
And it's basically it's a beginner session, and in future we are going to, for sure, we are going to have that too.
Okay. Thanks.
Anybody else, or we continue with the session?
Could you like explain what is Node.js and maybe?
Okay, so Node.js is a server which is used for the backend programming. Node.js consists of different types of packages, npm, which is mostly used to connect. A website cannot be created just by the HTML and CSS. It is a type where we takes different types of languages and construct a website. For Node.js, we support JavaScript also.
So if there's an Android app which can also be
No,
used
it's not. No,
on a
it's not
desktop.
Android app.
No. What I meant to say is, if I'm creating an Android app and
Yes.
for the front end part and for the display part, I'm using HTML, CSS stuff. So is Node.js more like a programming language like Java and Python?
No, it's not a programming language. It consists of different types of packages. It cannot be used like a language like Java or Ruby or Python. It is a different types of a setup, and it creates a package server like npm small packages.
Okay, so we use it for.
We use in the database system most of the, like when you make a responsive website, most of the data is used. And like if you make a website and you have to give the session according, like if you go to a web page and log in, so next web page is open, the work is created by the node.js, which helps to changes the pages and also to take the database from one system to another.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, now we continue with the session. The first part of the website creation is the HTML part. Now we are going to discuss some tags, which are the building blocks of any website or a web page. So the first thing is, what is HTML? As everybody, you all know, it's a hypertext markup language, which is we are learning from the 8th class, and you most of the having the faces like this. So the first thing is the tags. These tags are shows that it consists of like when you learn a language, you always see the specific symbols which attracts you. Like when you study a Ruby language or a Python language, you can understand by its codes that it's belong to that language. So by seeing the tag, you can imagine that it's mostly of the HTML. It consists of two tags, open and close tag. The difference is just of a slash and nothing else. This is a nested tag. It's just like a class. In most of the languages, we know about the class system. It's a class div in which we store the text content. The basic structure of HTML is this. It consists of doc type HTML, a body in which a HTML body in which two sides are present, the head and the body. In head, we consist most of the link structures, or when we are using a responsive page or to link a CSS with us. In the body is the representation of your web page. Now we will discuss about the head. In the head, we have in the title we have given learn HTML. So when we have to use or to write a web to write the name of your web page, we use the title tags. In the next review, you understand it in a better way. You can see the difference that when you put the title learn HTML, it shows on your screen like this. The next tag is the body tag. In the body, you consist most of the written fonts work, H1, P1, and different types. The first we are going to discuss is about the H1 tag, the heading tag. And we have written here my first page. And the preview of this is my first page. It shows in your screen. Now we will discuss about the headers. The headers are consist of different headers, H1, H2, H3. It can be any. So it's H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. The difference between these all tags are just of their size. header 1, header 2, you can see a decrease in the size of all the headers. The next is the paragraph tag, which is represented by P symbol. Most of you are getting that what the language is written, so never get confused with the content. The content can be anything, but the most important thing is the tags, which we are using. It for the paragraph, we always use P tag and closing slash P. The preview looks like this. Now we will discuss about the list items. When you have to create a web page in which consists of different types of listing items, or you have to list different parts, so we will separate them in different serials. When you see there is a difference between the list items. First is the UL and the second is the OL. The difference is when you have to make a bullet sheet, we always use the UL tag. And when we have to create a number system, we use OL tag. The preview is this. And don't worry, a hands-on session will be there just after the completion of the slides. Now is div tag. When you have to create the different classes, where most of you have a question that how we can create the h1 tags 2 times. So we can do this by creating 2 separate classes of div tags, in which in the first one we have used h1 for division header, p tag for division paragraph, and then in the next class we have separate them like h1 division 2 header. In the p tag we have used division 2 paragraph, and it looks like this preview. Now we will discuss about the inline elements. This paragraph contains, you have seen the difference is there a strong tag is used. Strong tag is used to bold your font size. The next preview is this. You see there is a difference between the font of the inline elements, rather the difference between this paragraph contains. By using a strong tag, we can change the font of the inline element. Now I will tell about the more inline elements. The strong is used for the bold, EM to make an angle of the font, or you can say by changing the font, the writing style of the writing style of your font, and span is used as to show it as same as it is. In the preview, you can understand it in a better way. Inline elements is used for bold. Inline elements, the next is when we use the EM tag, it is used to change the font style of the font style, and the third inline element span is used to show as it is. Now, when we have to store our image, or we have to store our image on a web page, show on your screen, we use the image src tag. You just pick the URL of your image from your desktop and put it there. It will show on your web page. The next are the different HTML tags. When you create a web page, the most important thing is the header, main, and the footer. The headers are the header. When you open a web page, you see there is a page. It is written like contents, sign up, login. These comes in your header section, where most of your data is. Where most of your the next browser, like in the starting session, I have said one thing about the cross browser. So most of the cross browser techniques are used in this header only. The footers are used like when you scroll a page, you see in a down there is written like contact please, or info, or help. The footer consists of these types of tags. And this A side, nav, sections, articles, these consist out of the main part of your body, in which in which all your contents are present, like how the responsive web page, or when you open something, search on something, the different types of sites are coming. So now I'm bored of the discussion of syntax details. Now let's start a question and answer again. And then there is a hands-on session by my friend Ashish Pipra, which will give you a detailed analysis of how the web page is created. So any question and answer, can I ask anybody?
Re-explain how image is inserted.
Can you repeat, please?
Can you repeat?
Re-explain how image is inserted.
Okay, just a second. In this image src tab, you see, just note this hashtag image src equals to. You just have to put the URL of your image, and in the alt, it is the HTML. In this tag, you use which type of image, a JPEG or a GEG image, which does you want.
So basically, the value is the is value of the image. After the name, underscore जो value है URL है image का जो मैं insert करना है.
Just a second, your voice is not coming clear.
You can post your query in the chat section.
Yes, your voice is not coming clear.
So your voice is not coming clear. You can post the doubt in the chat section also.
Yeah.
What does this alt attribute do?
The alt attribute is displayed in the cases when your images is not getting displayed. Let's say, so due to some error, your images can't be displayed in those particular scenarios. The alt tag will be displayed.
Okay, and what is the purpose of this tag exclamation mark doc type HTML?
Oh, this is just a sort of, you can say, when HTML5 was getting created. So people were like, how will we tell the browser whether it is HTML before 5 or is it HTML5? So they just said, okay, we are going to put doc type HTML on the top. So all the browser will understand, okay, so this document supports HTML5.
Okay. Does this create any major differences in website?
Not a lot. It just tells the browser, okay, so this complete HTML file uses HTML5 techniques. Okay, so yes, HTML5 is supported. It just tells the browser that much.
Okay, thanks.
Any other query anybody has? So can we start with the hands-on session by the Ashish Pipra?
Sure, that's
Yeah,
correct.
I have one question. If you
Okay. Yes, you can continue with the question.
Yeah, so what is the difference between bold and strong tag? Same as italic and EM tag.
See, it is just about HTML standards, right? As I just was telling, so before HTML5, we were using I and B tags for italic and bold respectively. But after HTML5, people switched it to strong and the other one, okay? Because there was some search engine optimization things, and plus it was a new standard in HTML5. That's why.
Okay, so they mean the same.
Yeah, exactly. But you are not supposed to write it, I and B these days because they are downgraded.
Okay, thank you.
And previously you said that there are some classes in HTML, like, so what are such type of classes, and how can we differentiate between that classes and these tags?
Which classes are you exactly referring to?
I just heard that there are some classes HTML.
No, I'll clear it out. It's not the classes. I'm just representing. When you in your coding, when you have to create when you create a code. So for different uses, you create a class. So in this only div tags, it just represent like a simple. It's just like a class. You cannot say it's a class of a program. It's just representing something. That when you create a web page, you have a different responsive sites for different layouts. Like you have a different class for login system. You have a different class for your footer system. So I've just give a name it, and it's nothing that.
Okay, okay, thanks. Okay.
Any other queries, guys?
I think we should start with the hands-on session.
Okay. Can you switch the slide?
Okay, I stopped sharing.
So, can you guys see CodePen? I will tell you what CodePen is right now, but just let me confirm if it is visible to you guys. Okay, so my name is Ashish Mitra, and I'm a freelancer web developer. I have been into web development for around 3 years, starting from basic HTML. Now I use React, Vue, Node.js, and full stack web development. So today I will tell you guys how you can create your own web page from very scratch. Okay, we will be using HTML and CSS, and without any further delay, let's start. I will be starting with creating a header tag. Okay, I will be telling you guys what this is as I go on. So a header tag is used to define the things that you want to come up on the top, right? So as soon as your web page is loaded, you want something to come up at that particular point, you put it inside the header tag. Very simple. You started with a header, you close it with a slash header. Now, what do we place inside it is much more important. So we are going to create a website for a cafe. And let's say, what can we do? First of all, the header tag is created, right? Let's see, I will be doing HTML and CSS parallel together. Okay, so if you guys have some doubt, you can keep them. Okay, in the middle, I will keep asking you guys about your doubts and I can clear that. So right now, HTML header is written right over here. And then we will define a CSS for it. What I want my header to do is, let's say why I'm writing it like header and then parenthesis. So first of all, whatever, let's say, okay, so in the previous slides, you just understand that we can apply some type of styling, right? We can decorate our HTML with the help of CSS. But how do we connect our HTML and the CSS together? So the CodePen that you see right over here is an IDE for that. Okay, you can just open CodePen. It would be really awesome if you guys just do it with me, right? If you guys are on your laptop, so I would suggest you open CodePen right now and we can code it all together. Okay, so open CodePen, you can click on pen and then a new pen will be created. I already have one open right over here, so I won't do that again. Just open CodePen, and one very good thing about CodePen is your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files are linked together, and you can see all the changes right on at the same time on the right hand side. Okay, so that's the introduction about CodePen, and HTML and CSS is already covered. The HTML part is covered. Let's say what is CSS? So CSS stands for cascading style sheets, right? And it's the way how you apply text or decorations exactly to your HTML. So let's say if you want to apply some decorations to your header tag, okay, you write the name of that tag and then you put parentheses, okay, and inside these parentheses now you can define the styling that you want to provide. Okay, so the basic styling is how what are the dimensions of our element, what is the height and what is the width. Let's just see. So to define the height, you can simply type height, and the height is 100 VH. But what does 100 VH means? So 100 VH means that it is going to take the complete height of your screen. 100 view height. VH means view height. Okay. How big or how wide is going to be your element? So it's 100 feet of the element is going to be 100 width. Let me show you one more thing. If I do background ash color and then I put red, see a complete red color is shown right over here, right? It is pretty awesome. We just write 3 lines and we see the changes right over here without refreshing because it is live server. But one thing to notice, what I did, let's just recap everything. I put height, I put 100 VH. 100 VH means cover the complete height of the screen, right? And 100 VW means cover the complete width. Then to define the color, you can simply type background dash color and write the color name. There are a lot of ways to define the color in the HTML. Either you can write the names like this, okay, and the color will be changed. Or what you can do is you can write their hexadecimal value. So for red, you can go for this, which is the hexadecimal value is usually a combination of RGB. Okay, I repeat it again. Read red, green, and blue. First two are red, then green, and then blue. Okay. So if you understand hexadecimals, then they are just number from 0 to 9, A to F, right? And the colors can be a combination of it. Right now, that's not what I want to do. I will be trying to put an image here. I want to put an image in the background, right? So how would I do that? I said background color, and there was a color. What if there is something called background image? Can I do that? Yes, I can. I can simply type background image, and then see, now the part that is going to come is a little bit tricky part. We are going to apply a gradient. Okay, so what is a gradient? A gradient means, let's say, you guys, let me show you. It will be much more easier if I show you. Color gradient examples. So these are the gradients, okay? These are the gradients where means color slides from left to right or whatever. So we are going to create our own gradient. There are a lot of websites to create your own gradient. You can go here and you can put in the colors that you want to choose, and then you will get a beautiful gradient. And then you can copy the CSS from right here. This is a very good tool. For here, let me show you how to write it. First of all, you have to type linear dash gradient. If you have few doubts, you can just remember them. I'm gonna ask in a few seconds. So linear gradient, okay. Then you define in which way do you want the gradient to go, from the left to the right, from the top to the bottom, or from the top right to the bottom. So you can say to right bottom, okay, something like that. Then you have to provide the color. As I was telling you, there are different methods to define the color. You can write red, blue, green, yellow, orange, or you can do hash and then FF0000, the hexadecimal. But there is one more, much simpler way called RGBA. So to define the color, you can say RGBA, okay, and then put parentheses here. Okay, so RGBA, and inside it you have to pass some value. But what values do RGBA take? RGBA take the same values as our hexadecimal pattern. You go for red, you go for green, you go for blue, and then you go for opacity. RGBA, red for red, R for red, G for green, B for blue, A for opacity. So let's start. The first value that I'm going to put is 0, 0, 0, 0.3. And the second value that's a brackish color, okay. And this is the second value that I'm putting. And you can already see a little bit of gradient on the right hand side, right? It is from light black to darker black on the bottom right side. Okay, it's pretty good. Now let's see. As I was telling, I won't be just simply adding a color here. I will be adding an image. So can we mix a linear gradient and an image? Yes, we can do that. But before that, one more time, linear gradient explained. You have to type background image, right? That's because we are applying it in the background. Then type linear, type a dash, type gradient, put parenthesis, type the direction. See, it is going from the top corner to the right bottom, right? So you say to right bottom, then put a comma, then define the two colors. The color that should be on the top left, the color that should be on the bottom right. So the top left color is this. You can type the color name also if you want, but I prefer this method. You can type the color that you need to be on the bottom right hand side. Okay, so here we have the gradient right now, but what about the image? So you can grab the image from the internet and then get the URL from there, okay? But few of the time there are copyright things. So one of the website which I prefer is Unsplash. It is pretty good. After you grab your URL, type URL here, okay? Put brackets and you have to paste your URL here. I have already done that. Okay, let me show you. I have already picked the images that I want to apply. Okay, so for the background, I want to grab this. Okay, this is the URL which I already picked. Is it? Let's see if it works. And I guess it already looks good, right? So this is the background image that we want to apply, right? Okay, so if you guys want to ask something up to now, just ask me.
Yeah,
Could you
instead of VH, can we use?
What? Can you repeat?
Instead of VH, can we use percentage symbol? Yeah, it would be same.
100%, right?
Yeah, percentage.
Yes. See, so I haven't covered about box model yet. Okay, but there is something called box model, which means if you put one thing inside another one, right, and then you put percentages, then you are comparing the widths, right? Do you understand? So let's say if I have a box 100-meter long, I have another box 10-meter long. I say in the 10-meter long box, let the height be 100%. For the 10-meter long box, who is their parent? It's the 100-meter long box, right? So it will make the height 100%, which means 100 meter, right? And then the height won't work, right? So there are some relative cases. So prefer using 100 VH. It is much more simpler than 100%. Okay, in this case, there won't be any difference right now, but later on it will be, and that's why I'm using 100 VH. Any doubt?
Thanks.
I had a question.
Yes.
So you've used this image, and is the image a little grayish, or is it the background that is making the image grayish? I was a bit confused.
Yes. Okay. So the reason why I wanted the image to be a little bit grayish is because now afterwards I'm going to type a text there, right? Like the name of the cafe. If the image was much more brighter and I write with the white color, right, I won't be able to see it. Here the linear gradient is turning the image grayish. You see this code that we write over here, linear gradient, and then the two colors we provided, that's making the image grayish.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
What are these values that you have written in RGBA and in these brackets?
Okay, so in the RGBA, you provide 4 different kinds of values. Okay, so you are telling the, you can say, the browser that, have you ever seen artists painting? So they take a little bit red, they take a little bit green, blue, mix them, and a color is created, right? So your browser is exactly like that. It asks you, okay, tell me how much red should I take, how much blue should I take, how much green should I take, to mix them and create a color. You say, don't take red, don't take green, don't take blue, right? Which color is it? It's black. And in the next one, you are saying, okay, take equal amounts of red, green, and the last one here, 0.3 and 0.6. Okay, 0.3 and 0.6 is the, you can say, the transparency. Okay, so you are saying, okay, whatever color is generating, what should be its transparency? These are the values. Find out.
Thank you.
Okay, there is one more thing to tell. These values have a range from 0 to 255.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I want a background video. So which tag is used?
What do you want?
I want background video.
Oh, you want to put a video in the background. Okay, so there is no tag for that. Sorry, there is no background dash video. What you have to do is you have to use HTML5 video tag. Okay, you have to write it like video, like that. Okay, and provide the source and the video link like that. You can't use background dash video. There is no such tag.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, let's continue. So one more thing, which I was curious at least, why do we have these borders, these whitish borders on the top, on the left hand side? Anyone? Anyone know? Okay, never mind. So there
Maybe
are
they are
some.
default margin.
Yes, that's exact answer that I was thinking about. And yeah, the exact the default margin and padding, we have to remove them. To remove the default margin and padding from all the elements, you have to type a star and then curly brackets. Inside this, we have to provide margin 0. Okay, no default margin. Okay, and ta-da. Okay, let's just remove the padding also. We don't want any default padding. And you don't see the padding here because no padding was applied, but now we know. Okay, so now the browser won't be telling us what to do and we will have full control on this. Okay, so we have a header tag and let's start by typing what we want inside it. We want a h1 tag. Okay, let's just say great cafe dash h1. Okay, so few more things. Let's just understand them. First of all, let's just see. I have, if you guys focused on the previous slides, then the exact way of writing the HTML document is HTML, then head, and then the body, right? But because we are writing on the code pen, we can simply type the content inside the body, right? So you don't see the body tag here, but the code pen is actually generating it for you. Okay, so we can access the body tag though in the CSS, and I will be going to do the same. What I don't like is the font. I really don't like the font. Okay, the font is like this font you see right over here is called Sans. Okay, and we want to change it. To change the font, we can type font dash family and sans serif, and the font is changed. Okay, so serif was the previous font which was there. This one. This is serif, and I changed it to sans serif. The changes are in the curves, if you see, right? Then I want to make the color, let's say, sorry, I want it to be white. It is good, I guess. So why I write hash FFF? So writing FFF and FFF 6 times is the same thing. Okay, these two, the first two, the second two, and the last two are grouped together. So these two combined become F, and these two combined become F and F. So this is the hash, the hex code for white color. Okay. Now, few more things. The text align. We don't want it to be on the top left side. We want to be we want it to be at the center, right? So what we can do is we can align the text. Okay. We can say text dash align and then center. And that's it. Very simple. Like this is the easiest thing I have seen. Like CSS is so cool, right? So we can just say text dash align and center, and the text is aligned. Now a few other things. Okay, text is aligned, but it is too top, right? It's just sticking on the top. We don't want that. Now let's just see what else can we do. First of all, there are a few things to understand. The box model that I was talking about, right? Just a second, guys. Okay, never mind. So the next thing is the box model. So this rectangle, this is your complete website, right? You want your Great Cafe to shift a little bit downward, right? If you put a padding, right, when you see a notebook, right, there are some top padding, some left padding, right? So these are the padding exactly here. Let me show you the padding. If I can see, inspect. This wasn't, I wasn't supposed to do that, but let's just try if I can show you. Yeah, here. You see this graph right over here, right? This is your block. This is your padding, okay? And this is border and then margin, right? We want to increase, we want this part. We want to consider our focus on the padding part, right? So let's just do that. I can say padding dash top as, let's say, 25%, and then 0. Okay. One more thing. Right now, the padding is not applied, but do anyone know why? Any guesses? Okay. No guesses. pretty bad. Never mind. Let's just create a div here. Let me show you a trick for this. Inside a div, we are creating a class. I'm going to tell you what a class is in a second. So I say info and a slash div. We are doing nested HTML. We are writing an HTML tag inside an HTML tag. And now let's see. What I just did is I just created a div. Okay, I assigned a class to it, and I then put my h1 tag inside it. Right now, I can access. Let's say I want to apply some CSS to this div. How can I do that? I have provided a class, right? And I can connect the CSS to this HTML with this class. What I have to do is I have to type dot info, right? By dot info, you have to type a dot, and then you have to type the name of the class, right? So info, and then you can say something like margin dash top is equals to 20%. Come on, oops, that's not exactly what you're wanting. Nope. This is yes, that's what exactly I was trying to do. So what I did is we created a div, put a class, and then we connected the CSS to this div, right? And how we do that? The class we assign is info. We type dot, then we provided the class, and that's it. That's all what you have to do to connect your CSS to the HTML. If anyone wants to ask something, can you please wait for Q&A? Awesome.
Ashish, you are muted. You unmute yourself.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Thanks. Okay. So, okay. Let's just put a p tag. Let's say a cafe.
Whose mic? Guys, please.
This is like a really awesome audience, huh?
Rajiv Singh, please mute yourself. Otherwise, I have to mute everyone. Ashish, you can unmute yourself now.
Thanks a lot, guys, for such an awesome support. Let's just continue. So, yeah, where were we? Anyways, what I just did is I created a class and I connected it. I showed you what I did is I provided a padding top of 20%, so it moves down a little bit, okay? And that's it, okay? I can provide a lot of CSS to this, but we have to move on, okay? What next I want is I will be adding a property, and I will show you why I added it in a second. So I will be adding background dash attachment colon fixed. Okay, I think it is attached. Now, whatever we wanted to write inside our header is just done, okay? If anyone wants to ask something with what I did right now, you can ask. Anyone? Yes? Okay. Yeah, sure. So there, like I told in the starting, that we don't have to connect our HTML, CSS, JS here, but in the actual Word, you would have to do that, right? So the syntax for that is inside your. Let me show you the exact thing. In the HTML, you would be having a head tag. Inside the head tag, let's say if you have CSS in a different file, right? So you can say link ref. Okay, you can use the link tags, and then you have to provide the ref property to it, and that's how you link your HTML file, CSS files. And for the JS file, you can do script script src, and then provide the path of your JavaScript file, okay? And that's it. That's all what you have to do. You have to close it like this. That's it. your script, you type script in the head, you type the source, which means the path, and slash script. Your JavaScript file will be connected. And for the CSS, go for the other one, the link. Okay, I think it is sorted. Let's just move on. The next part, we created our header. Okay, let me just revise it. Created a header, put a div inside it, give a class info to the div, provided a h1 and a p tag. Very good. The next tag that we will be using is a section tag. Okay, and I will be providing an ID to this section. Okay, I will tell you what an ID is in a second. So ID and let's say menu, maybe slash.
Yeah, can you please explain the background attachment tag one again?
Background attachment.
Yeah. It would be great.
Yes, you would be seeing that in like 20 seconds. So right now I just wanted to show this. Let's see, previously when I put a class and then info, I have to do dot info, right? Now when I will be doing the ID, you have to type hashtag menu. Okay, you want to access this one, an ID, so do a hashtag menu. Just a second, I'm answering your doubt. Width 100 VW and background dash color, say let's just go for that. Okay, now when I scroll this up, do you see this effect that the image is right over there, but the second layer is getting on the top of it, right? As soon as I am moving the cursor, it is going on the top of it, right? If I remove this background attachment, just see the behavior now. You see it, right? So that's the difference. Raghav, can you please repeat? Okay. Never mind. So just a second.
I have a question.
Yeah. Sure. Ask.
You previously used that div, then class, and then in this section tag you use ID. Can we use class in this also, or? And my next question is, what is the difference between class and ID? And in the previously you used that dot info, but here when you use ID attribute, you use hash, then use menu in CSS file. So what is the difference, and when should we use that class and ID attribute?
Okay, that's a really impressive question, which means you are focusing. So when I use class, okay, let's say I just want to provide CSS. I just want to stylize this box, and I will have a lot of boxes like this. Okay, I won't be creating just one box. I will be having a lot of boxes like this. So in these cases, when you will be you want different HTML tags to have the same CSS, you go for a class. What you do is you create a class, okay, and you just provide the rules inside it. Yeah, right. Here we created a class. When you create a class, you do dot and then the class name. Here the class is created. Now you want your HTML tag to use the code that you have written inside this class. So what you will do, you will type class equals to, and inside semicolon, inside quotation marks, you will write the name of your class. And as I said, when you want your different HTML tags to have the same CSS, go for class. But when you will be having just let's say you will be having a section, okay, whose name is going to be exactly same. This is ID. ID means identity, right? No two HTML tags can have the same ID. See, if you have two HTML tags with the same ID, there won't be any error, right? But it is not like not, you can say not valid. Okay, most of the browsers say it's not valid because each element should have a single ID. I wanted to apply this CSS only on this one. So I thought it is much more better that we go for ID. When we do ID, we have to use a hash. And when we do classes, we have to use a dot. Any doubt?
Okay, it means if we want to apply a multiple CSS styles to matlab, in many tags, then we use class. And
Yes.
if we want to apply only one style to a particular tag, then we use ID.
Yes, that's exactly correct.
Okay, okay, thank.
Okay. So now, I think, as Raghav said, you guys are not able to see the animation that I was, thinking to show you. But never mind. The next part is the color. The color for this red box. It is pretty ugly. Ask me. It is really pretty ugly. Let's just change it. I want to change the color. I have already picked the color for this. I have picked a gray color for this. Remember, your color scheme tells a lot about your website. Okay, don't hodgepodge and put a lot of colors inside it. There are different kinds of color themes, Tridal and other sort of color themes. Okay, just go to them. Okay, and if you are, let's say, if you really want to get into web development, I would suggest you that at least see color wheel and color theory once. It is really important if you know about it. Okay, this is a gray color, and there is one more trick about gray colors. Okay, so if you have, I hope you guys can see this. So if you, I told you, it is RGB, right? If you see something like A1, 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 or let's say 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, then if you see that the R, G, and B parts are repetitive, right? These are repetitive, the same thing repeating again. Then always remember this is going to be a gray color. Okay, so this is a trick to remember it. This one is different, but still it is gray, sort of, at least. And one more thing that I have to add: overflow hidden, and I will tell you in a second why I added that. Okay, so when I didn't added overflow hidden, download it. There was some white spaces. If you guys could have noticed it, right? There was some spaces between the image and the box, right? So for that, I have added overflow hidden. So if anything goes outside our box, okay, then it will be hidden. Everything that goes outside the box will be hidden. So here is our gray box. Still, it isn't that good. Let's just add some features to it. Everything that I still covered, okay, is just the basic CSS. Now we are going to create some boxes, okay. So what I'm going to create is I will be creating 3 coffees, right? It's a cafe. Let's have some coffee. And for the coffees, we call it tiles, okay. So these boxes that I'm talking about in web development, we usually refer to them as tiles. Okay? So imagine that we have a page, right? You open Domino's website, and there are a lot of dishes, or simply you open Zomato, right? And there are a lot of cards there. So you don't these cards, okay, group the information, right? So we call them tiles, and each tile group the information together. Okay. So without any more time, let's just create the tiles. So we will be creating the tiles inside this section. Okay. Why this tag is called a section tag is because we can have a lot of sections in our website, right? A section where we display the menu, a section for the Q&A, a section for the responses, and everything like that. So we can split our code into different sections, right? So that's why we have a section. And let's start. I will be creating a div, and I will be providing a class. I'm providing a class, which means I will be going to share the CSS with other classes, with other HTML elements. I will call it each item. Okay, let's call it each item. So for me, the internet is sort of slow, I guess. /div. Okay. I create a div. I put a class in it. Right now, you won't see anything, but let's just try to add. It's a class, so a dot, and each item. Let's provide a height. What about 400 pixels? This time, I'm providing 400 pixels, right? So I will be describing why in a second. And a width. Let's say 28%. Okay, and a minimum width. I will be describing each of them just in a second. Minimum width of, let's say, 300 pixels, and let's just provide it a background color so we can see how our card looks, right? Background color #FFF. FFF means and here is a card. See, height 400 pixels. Pixels is the unit of measurement, like centimeters, meters, and all. Pixel is one of the basic units in the web development. Pixels, when in the previous slide, you saw the resolution or the pixels in our desktop, right? So those pixels matches here. This, if you count these pixels, the height, it is 400 pixels, and the width is 28%. 28% means whosoever, let's say if this card is inside this complete HTML, right? So whatever is the width of this complete HTML, just take 28% width of it. Okay. So if your parent is, let's say the desktop is, let's say, having a width of 100 pixels, and you say take 10% of it. So then the width of the element is going to be 10 pixels, which is 10% of the parent. Okay. So, and then a minimum width of 300 pixels, because so that it just don't become too much thinny, right? Too much thin. That's why. So here is our card, but still it doesn't look good, right? It is sticked on the top. We don't want that. What we can do is we can provide a margin. Margin dash top, let's say 20 pixels. And see, that's these are few of the reasons why I don't like CSS. Never works as I wanted to. So right now, let's just don't do that. Where is our menu? Okay, here I can do. You always have to try a lot. Like, I struggle with CSS a lot. I won't lie. See, now it is working. So let's just make it 20%. Should be at the center. Second, that's too much. Now, and okay, we will be keeping it right over here so we can make the changes. Okay, we will move it later. Never mind. Let's just continue. So what's next is, now we see these cards, right? These cards are still empty. We don't have anything inside them. Let's just keep adding margin dash left. Now see, it is sticked on the left hand side, right? It is sticking on the left hand side of the browser. We don't want that. We want it to, shift a little bit on the right. So to shift something on the right, you push on the left, right? So it is exactly like that. You put a margin dash left. If you want to give a value, you can give a value. Okay, I don't prefer giving a value. What can be much more better is you give 1.5%. Say 1.5%. And I also want two cards not to stick together. So 1.5%. I really understand if you're doing CSS for the first time, this won't make a sense to you. It's like, what's going on, I know. But let's just be with me, and I'm pretty sure if you are doing it on the code pen, it will be easy. I will just copy these 3 times. So I get 3 tiles like that. Now I get 3 tiles, but they are taking the complete width, right? If you want to change this, right? If you want the cards to come on next to each other, any guesses? What should we do? If anyone already knows, please tell me.
Position attribute.
Yes, that's correct. Position, and position should be inline block.
Yeah.
And see, I told you I don't like CSS. See, when I did position as inline block, it didn't work. Let's try inline. Save it and reduce the sizes just a little bit. Second, refresh this.
What is the mean of inline?
Can you repeat this?
What is the mean of inline?
Oh,
Which is
so yes,
in
see, the normal HTML tags like this right now is taking the complete width. You see, it is not allowing anyone else to come on the right hand side, right? It is saying if I'm here, no one is going to stand on the right hand side to me, right? It is block. If you want 2 of your elements to be on the same line, you say that these are inline. Understand?
Okay.
Yes, sure. So the padding is the space that you provide. Just a second, let me show you. We don't have a box model right over here to show, but I will try. Do you see this? If you see this gray box right over here, right, and you see key, whatever elements are inside this gray box should not just start from the top. If I remove the padding, you will see that the element is just coming from the top, right? We want it to start getting created after a little bit of space, right? So we say that let's just put a padding to it, and that's what I did. I don't wanted it to stick on the top, so I provided a padding dash top. Okay, it is a way so that the elements move a little bit down now. Any other doubt? If you guys have any doubt, you can ask me, because I think I have already covered a lot of things. So you must have few of the doubts.
No, previously you said you will tell that why you have used pixel instead of view height VH.
Pixels. Okay. See, instead of VH, very good thing. Just a second. Padding. Okay, let's see. So when you know what is your height of the element, let's say when we are talking about VH, I do it when I want my website to get adjust on different screen. Let me show you. If I move it, you see the elements are not moving, they are static, right? They are getting adjusting, right, as I'm making my website responsive. If I know that no matter on what, either I'm on a mobile phone, on a Mac, on a desktop, on a PC, I don't care on what device I am on, I just want the height to be fixed. I know it is going to be, let's say, 400 centimeter. So why do a relative width, right? Let's just say it is going to be 400 pixel, no matter on which device we are on. That's why I put a pixel there, because I knew. Yeah.
Okay. So if we use there in the pixel VH height, then what will happen there?
If you use VH instead of pixel.
Yeah.
Before that, just a second. I understood why it wasn't working. It's display. Display inline block. Okay. Yeah. Now the cards are correct. So I used a height there, and let me show you. If I have put it 400 VH, this is what you will get, right? You don't want it to adjust on different screen, right? You want the height to be constant on different screens, right? And that's why I put a PX. I know the height should be this. Yeah.
Yeah, but you said that using pixel, if we use that website in suppose in mobile, so does it sorry.
Okay. So I think I understand your question. Right now, do you see, all of you focus on the height of this, and when I change this, do you see that this is automatically making the cards move, right? They are making the cards responsive, right? And the responsivity is because I have put it a VW here, right? Sorry, not this one. I have put it a percentage here, right? So the width is getting changed with the change in the browser, right? But in this particular case, I don't want it that. I want, no matter on what device we are, give me 400 pixels. That's all I want. That's what I wanted, and that's why I put a pixel right there.
Yeah, I will.
And padding should be okay. Okay, pretty good. 5%. This is the place where, yeah.
So if we using that 60 pixels, it means it will take 60 pixels whether on mobile or desktop.
Yes, if you are saying in pixels, it will be constant, and no matter on which device you are. Okay.
Suppose if we are using it, right, then 60 pixels will show us a bit larger than on the monitor.
No, the pixels are constant for all the devices. If you are having a mobile phone, the pixel would be something around 768 pixels, right? And the pixels is same. If you take your mobile phone, put it in front of your laptop, you can actually compare the pixels. It is exactly same on all the devices.
Okay.
Yeah, difference between display attribute and position.
Yeah, actually, I never wanted to do the position. I just wrote it. So the display is used to do to change the let me show you. See, I really think the box model was necessary here. So let me remove this first, and I will tell you things. I remove display inline block, and now you see the cards are taking the complete width, right? They are each card is not letting the other card to move here, right? It is just saying I will occupy the complete width. You are not allowed here, right? So this is a block element, okay? So initially div is a block element. It won't allow any other element to come next to it, right? But if you want two elements to come next to each other, you would have to say that, okay, change the display from block to inline block. Inline block means two elements can come next to each other, okay? They can be positioned next to each other. That's where we use display. Position is something else. We will cover it if we need it, okay? Any doubt? If anyone wants to ask something, please ask. Okay, I think no doubts. One more thing.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Are pixel depends upon devices?
No, pixels are independent. On all the devices, it is just like centimeter. If you check your phone is 6.5 centimeter, you can use it on your. You can use the same scale to check the length or height of your laptop also. Pixels are constant on all devices.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can you please read comment section or chat section? I posted my problem.
Okay, I will try. Do that. After deploying website, is the images we set at back? Is it seen when you open the website on mobile devices? If I am correct, then your doubt is if you put the height and width in pixels of the images, will it be same or not? Is it your question?
Yes.
Yes. If you are defining pixel, no matter if it is an image, a table, or a box, it will be the same. Now,
On which language?
Yeah.
It is so. It is easy for us.
You are talking which one should you use? Pixel, VH, percentage, right?
Yes.
Okay. See, if you want the element to change its height or width depending on the browser. If you're using on a mobile phone, it should display small. On a laptop, should display big. If you want to do stuff like that, go for VH, go for percentage. If you know the height and the width is going to be constant no matter on what device you are, then go for pixel. Very simple.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. See, now guys, if you focus right on here, you see this scroll bar, right? It is just ruining the view. We don't want that. How can we remove a scroll bar from a website? So for that, you have, see, remember the X and Y planes, right? The Y plane, the straight one, the X plane, the horizontal one, right? So we don't want the horizontal scroll bar. So I will say overflow dash X because I don't want the horizontal one to be hidden. Oops. And that's how we hide the scroll bar from it, because it was ruining the view, right? At least for me. Now we have the cards, right? Let's just add something inside the card. How I created the card, once again, I created a section, okay? And just a second, let me make this bigger so you guys can see it. Okay. I hope it is much more readable. Okay, so yeah. Right over here, I created a section, I provided an ID. We have been through this. Then I created a div and provided this class, each item, right? The code for the each item is right over here. The complete CSS is here. We did it together, right? We provided the height, we provided the width, and we provided a minimum width. Oh, come on. Okay. And provided a background color, margin left, display inline so that two blocks can come next to each other. And then a little bit of margin. So they have this gap, right? One more thing which I like to add is the margin between the box on the top and the box on the bottom, right? They are almost sticking together. So for that, now see, I know that no matter on what device they are, I want the margin to be 20 pixels, right? And here we are. Now they have margin in between. Okay, pretty cool. Okay, we will be facing the errors like this. When you face an error like this, when you see the box is going outside, right? It is just getting outside of this gray area that we created, which is the section, right? Then why is it happening? Let's just check it out. In the section, where are you? Here in the menu. Okay, this is a CSS for our section. Okay, cool. Here we provided the height as 100 VH, right? So the height is 100 VH, but the content is much more larger than 100 VH. So we can say that, okay, at least keep the height to be 100 VH, and otherwise keep the height to be auto. As soon as you put the height as auto, you will see our last box is also inside the gray area. But what I just did, I say if you have space, okay, then it is okay. Keep a minimum height of 100 VH. But if you are lacking space, then you can adjust the height automatically. Okay, you can only adjust the height because I said height auto, not width auto. Width won't be adjusted, but the height can be adjusted auto, so that all the elements come inside it. Okay. So
I have a question.
That's yeah.
Can we use a section inside a div between the div tags?
See, either it can be inside a div tag or in between means inside, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you can do that. It's possible.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what's the difference between section tag and div tag basically?
See.
Yeah.
Okay. So the section tag is see some conventions about HTML, right? If you figure it out, there aren't exactly a lot of differences between div and section, but the basic difference is like when you are separating different parts in your web page, you would use a section. If you want to separate a part inside a part, you go for div. When you are doing nesting, go for div. Create boxes, go for div. Create sections, a section, go for section. Okay.
So in this HTML heading, under the HTML heading, if we write a div instead of section, and then we then the whole thing remains same. So does it affect any website view?
If I'm correct.
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay. I guess my. Okay.
I was saying that. Hello.
Yes, I think that's it's an issue from your side. You can just wait till you get the internet.
You can type in your query in the chat section. We will reply.
Oops. Save. Let's just save this. I don't want to lose that. Okay. Never mind. Your voice is breaking. Okay.
I was saying that instead of writing section, can we use div only?
Yes, that
div.
Yes.
Then we got the card or not?
Yes. We. Oh. So you are saying if we would have put it section here? No. No. That's not the use of section.
Instead of section, if we use div.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do we get the cards or not? That's cards. 3 cards.
Check it out. We will get a section, and I guess I actually made a mistake right over there, but never mind. Yes, we have a section right over here. Okay, it's a div right here.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm gonna turn it back to section. Yes.
To emphasize element, which tag we can use?
Wait, can you repeat, please?
To emphasize element,
yes,
which tag we can use?
You can use em tag.
Can you explain how?
Yeah. Type em. Type the name of the element. Hi. / em. Right over there. If I put it somewhere like Control X, just a second. Hi. Do you see right over there? Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Please explain background alignment tag.
Which tag?
Background alignment.
Background alignment. I don't think so. We use background alignment right here. Mm. Nope, we didn't.
For the Great Cafe.
Oh, background attachment.
Yeah, sorry,
See,
I didn't get that.
No problem. See, so background attachment, I wanted to show you guys this effect, but as Raghav is saying, you guys are not able to see the transition happening, maybe because of the internet or something. But if you guys are able to see that the gray color box is getting over the image, right? This effect is achieved with the help of background attachment. If I change it to scroll, SCROW, scroll, and let the website refresh, and now you can see it is pretty ugly, right?
Yeah, that's parallax, I think.
Yes, exactly. I think you already know about it. So never mind. This is the effect that we were trying to achieve. Now we want to fill up these boxes, right? These are empty boxes, and I think we are already a bit late. Let's just do this. We want to put an image, right? Who likes to order something if you don't know what you're ordering? This is a cafe website, and we should have some coffee. We would be creating a class, okay? And this is one of my favorite way to add images to the website, okay? So first of all, create a div, okay? And this div is going to be the container for your image, okay? Hash div, just like that. So this is the container for your div, and inside this div, we are going to put our image, okay? What I just did, created a div element, put a class image container, and now I'm going to put an image. For the image, you have to type image, and then you have to type src equals to inside quotation marks, type the URL, okay? Understand? A container for your image, and inside the container, you're going to type the image. You can grab the URL from the internet, as I think you guys already understand by now. I have already grabbed all the images, because grabbing the image part is like really tough for me. I'm a choosy person, I can say. So alt, and I can say coffee. One. Okay, let's save it. And right now, oops, okay. The flashes that you see right over here are because the server is reloading. And the image, it looks pretty ugly. I can say in one line, pretty ugly. So let's just change this. We want to add this class, right? How can we do that? The image, dot image, it's a class, so dot image container, okay? Let's add a height to it. I will say 150 pixels should be fine. Width should be, wait, does it make sense right now? I will just show you in a second. And now we are going to try something new. We type the name of the class again, right? But now we are going to type img, and then we are going to put curly brackets. Why? So now we are going to define the CSS for the image inside the class image container. Now we are defining the CSS for the image inside the image container class. So if I say height 100% and I say width 100%, that's it. The image is right inside our card, right? And now you don't have to make any changes to this part. If you want to resize it, just change the container, right? Let's just recall everything we did. We created a div, right? We put a class image container to it, right? So image container is the container of your image. Very simple. You say that image container should have a height of 200 pixels and should have a width of complete card. Whatever is the width of the card, it should cover the complete width, right? That's the code for the image container. Now we want to define the code for the image inside the image container. You see this image that we put here inside the image container, right? So we want to define the code for this. So I type image container and then a space and then image. Now whatever code I write is going to get applied into this image. Then I say to the browser, okay, whatever is the height of the container, just take the complete height of the container, take the complete width of the container. And that's the reason why the image is taking the complete height and the complete width of the container. Ask your doubts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ashish, there is one doubt in chat section that how can we access the tag of a particular class?
How can we access the
Tag of a particular class.
Okay, I think the question is a little bit not pinpoint, right? How can we access the tag of a class? If you define a class, I think what they wanted to ask is, let's say if there is a class, right, and they have another div or something inside it, and if you want to access that, for example, menu, right? Menu have a div inside it. I want to access this div. What I can do is menu is an ID. You can type menu like that and then div. If I say display none, bam, everything is gone, right? We are accessing the div from with the help of menu, right? So all the divs are gone. That's how you can access it. If it was a class, you can type dot. It's an ID, so you have to type it like that. Okay. Any doubt?
Yeah, can we put class inside the image tag also? Would it help?
Yes, it is possible to put a class right over there, but see, there are two ways to put an image. Okay, either you provide the CSS directly to the image, and that's pretty ugly. It's really bad. I like when I started with it, I always provide height and width right over here, right? I go for the height and then I provide the height right over here, but it didn't help. Okay, the best way that I come up with is you create a container, create the height and width for your container, and then say whatever image is inside the container, just acquire the complete height and width of your container. These 5 lines of CSS for the image placement will help you a lot. Okay, this is the best way to do it.
Okay, thank you.
I have a
Now,
question.
Yeah.
If we want to do a transition, like if suppose we are scrolling down, the name Great Cafe,
Yes.
it should not disappear. It should come like in center. If we are scrolling down and down, it should not disappear. Like if you are scrolling down, the Great Cafe, it will disappear after some time. But I want to say that that should not disappear. It will stay right in the center.
Okay. So what you are asking is can be done with the help of position tag, right? So if you create a position tag, right, and define a position for it, let's say top 0, that, okay. If you provide a class like this, and then right now it is inside the header, so you are not able to see the changes, but just put position as sticky, put top is equals to 0, and when you will scroll it, right, it will just stick at this particular point and it won't go any longer. Okay, use these 2 lines of code. I would have to change a lot to achieve this right now, but you can just do this. Put position is sticky, put top 0. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And one question also.
Yeah.
If we don't want to attach a CSS file, like I don't want to make 2 separate file of HTML and CSS, can we done it in a single file that there we have HTML code also and CSS type?
Yes. For that you can use inline CSS. But let me tell you frankly why we should always create a CSS class. If I wanted to provide height and width to this div, what I can do is I can type style is equals to, and inside quotation mark, height colon 300 pixels, and then semicolon width 200 pixels, just like that. Okay, and as soon as you keep increasing it, okay, it will just you won't be able to understand it yourself, right? Right now, you see, we have to do it this way, and the code is not as readable, right? And plus, there are just few errors. So it is better. There is an option for inline CSS. The CSS which I just showed you is called inline CSS, right? At the same line, you're doing the CSS, so inline CSS. But this is not a good way to do it. Okay, so don't try to do that. And if it is possible, go for creating an external CSS class. Okay. Okay. So any other queries?
Yeah, are there any specific tags for adding transition or kind of animations in the website?
That depends on what kind of transitions are you talking about. Are you talking about like the when the website opens, you see those bars, right? The loading bars and the scrolls. Are you talking about that or parallax effect like this? So specify much more what you're talking about.
Kind of sliding transitions, like we slide from one tab to tab.
Okay, yeah. I will show you the transition in the CSS in next 3 minutes. Okay. So just wait. Then, if I don't tell, ask me again. I will tell you how to do the transitions. Okay.
Okay.
So we added the image here. Okay, the image is ready. Let's just add the images quickly for the rest of the two cards. Okay. Uh, okay. For this, in this one, we have to add the div class is equals to image container slash div, and then the image src equals to add the second image. See, always choose good images, okay? Because the images actually make your website change. If you have a bad website, you have good images, the website will change a lot. Two images done. Let's just quickly add the third image. Getting a div, providing a class image container, closing the div. Inside the div, creating an image. src is equals to, and getting the last image. Add it, alt, last. You can provide any alt. This tag will be displayed when the browser is not able to load the image. And I'm pretty sure these white flashes, if you're able to see, is because the live server is loading, as I already told you. And here we have the images. I think the card is looking pretty good, right? So yeah, the transitions. Let's just talk about the transitions a little bit. I was going to cover them anyway. Right now, if you hover, when I say hover, I mean move the mouse on the element. I'm moving my mouse on this first card, but there is no change, right? Let's just add some changes to it. The CSS for our card is this one, dot each item. And let's just see, we already crossed 45 lines. Awesome. The name is each item, each dot item. And when I hover on it, okay, so when I move my mouse on it, I want to do some changes, right? But what changes? So on hovering over it, you type the name of the class, then you type colon, and then the effect. When you want to apply the effect. I want to apply the effect when I hover on it, when I move my mouse on it. What effect you want to apply, you write it here. So I want that there should be some shadow, okay, like a shadow to it. So I will be adding a shadow, 20 pixels, 30 pixels, 40 pixels, and then the color. 20 pixels is how much on the right, then bottom, and the blur effect. Okay, then the color. I'm choosing the color to be this. Let's see. I am not sure if you guys are exactly able to see it, but if I'm hovering on it, we can see that there is a sort of shadow on the back, right? If you want, you can increase the shadow effect. You can make it 40 and 60, right? And the effect will just increase a little. But right now, it doesn't look like an animation, right? So let's just make it look like an animation. Right now, if I move my cursor on the top of this element, then it is still like this arrow. I want it to be like a pointer. So what I can say, I can type cursor and I can type pointer, just like that. Cursor pointer. You see, now when I move on it, it is like a pointer. But still the transition is pretty bad, right? It is not good. To make this smooth, to make it change from no shadow to shadow, there should be some time gap. Okay? Understand? No shadow right now. When I hover on it, there is a shadow. There should be some time gap, right? So what I will do is I will type box that shadow. Oh, sorry. I want to do the transition. Transition. I want to apply this transition on all. Okay, this transition should be smooth. And how much time? 0.2 seconds. Now see it. It is a very small small change, but if I make it to 2 seconds, maybe you guys will be able to see, right? It's so slow, right? So that's the difference. That's how you can achieve the transition. Don't make it 2 seconds. No one is going to wait to see your effect for 2 seconds. It should be like 0.2 seconds, 0.4, 0.6, not more than that. 0.5 is much more preferred. Okay. So now you can see this effect, right? When you are hovering on the cards, you can see this. On each card, this will be applied. The reason why this is getting applied on each class, each card is because all these cards share the same CSS. Share the same CSS class, each item. I really don't know why this calls up, but never mind. All these cards are having this class, each item. Okay. Just repeating again, name of the class, when you want to apply the when you want to apply the animation or whatever you are doing. I want to apply when I want hover on it. Then what changes I want to make? I want to provide a shadow. Then in the original class, just add one line, transition, all, and then there are different options: ease in, ease out. If you remember the sine x, cos x curves, then these are these. Okay. Always keep it ease. It is okay. And after that, put a time like 0.2 seconds for the animation to happen. Ask your doubts. Anyone? And I'm pretty sure your doubt is clear, right? Maybe this was the transition that you were talking about. If you want to move it, there are different kind of transition for that. You can simply do transform for this. Let me show you one. Transform, translate, let's say X, and let's say 200 pixels. Let's see what happens. Right? It is not smooth, I know, but it happens, right? So that's how you can achieve the transitions. Okay. So anyone want to ask something?
Yeah, transition is easier in the CSS or in JavaScript section?
Okay, so that depends on whether your transition is something really hard or your transaction is something easy, right? So if you're making a very a bit of animation like these ones, you don't have to do a very big transitions. Okay, you don't need JavaScript for that. If you are making some complex animations, then go for JavaScript. It is much more simpler to write one line. Okay, we are sort of out of time, so I think we should just quickly wrap it up. I'm going to add few elements. Okay, like right now we don't understand what these are, right? So let's just quickly do that part first of all. I didn't thought it will take this much time, so I'm going to add an h2 tag, and I will say I think this is an mocha, right? Mocha is a copy tag. Okay. I would add buttons. Button. Okay. Button is a button. What kind of button it is? It doesn't submit a form. It is a button, normal button. I will be adding a class, myBTN. The name of the class is myBTN. I'm going a little bit quick right now. We are out of time, but try to pace with me. Okay. You already covered a lot. So right now, if you see, second, we see this order. The button is not visible. It is right over here, right? The text is here. The reason is that the color of the text and the background is the same. Let's just change the color. The color should be same as the color of the background, and the color of the background is this gray color. Okay, so let's just make gray like that. Okay, this is the gray color that we wanted, right? Now I want to access the h1 tag, right? Each item, and then inside each item I want to access the h2 tag, and I want that h2 tag should not stick on the top, right? We have seen this a lot of time. Simply do margin dash top, right? Then I can write a p tag right over there, but I think you guys can do it now. Let's also add a margin dash bottom of 20 pixels. Okay, cool. Now I am going to do the CSS to the button. This is the tricky part. I'm going to apply the CSS on all the buttons, right? Oops, okay. So I'm going to apply the CSS on all the buttons. Let's just quickly do that. First of all, I want the background color of my button to be white because the background to the button is white also. I don't want to have any borders, right? I want my Actually, I wanted my background color to be yellow, I guess. I remember now. Just a second. Okay. Let's just grab this. There are a lot of websites you can use to pick the background colors or all the colors. There are material designs and all. Padding. I want it to have this padding. Looks good. Now, see, I want this to have edges, curvy radius. So I say border radius as 50 pixels. It can be anything large, and it will look like this. I'm going to add few more CSS. The CSS is all about how much you can remember. The names are much more like English names. So try to remember the names. Okay, if you remember the name, it is all good. There is no much complex logics or anything like that. Right now, if you see, then the order button is ready, right? And that's it, right? That's so easy, right? You just created a button, you put the background color, the border, you put some padding from the top, from the bottom, from the left, from the right, just like that. The first two, these 10 pixel is saying top and bottom, and these 20 pixel is saying left and right padding. This is saying this 50 pixel is giving us the radius on the left hand side and right hand side. Letter spacing is the spacing between each letter. I just increased it. If you increase it to, let's say, 10 pixels, then you can see the changes, right? I increase it to 1 pixel, and that's it. And that the color is white. That's the complete CSS for this button. Now you can add the CSS to all these, all of these cards. Okay, it will be pretty easy. You just have now you can just simply copy and paste it. Even I will do it one more time. H2 tag. This is an espresso, I guess. I don't even know if the spelling is correct. Espresso and the button, and then type, and then button. Okay. If this button was inside a form, then the type of the button should be submit. It is really just a simple button, so it doesn't matter actually. Order slash button. Let's just check it out. Right? Espresso, espressos, and how can we miss this one? This is so trendy. I don't know if you guys can tell me which one is the last one.
Yeah. Why is the H2 tag is aligning in the center?
What?
Why is H2 tag aligning in the center?
Oh, just a second. This is because in the body we set text align center.
Oh.
I should do copy paste. Okay, any other doubts? Right now we have done this much. Yeah, any doubts? If you guys have any doubts, you can ask me. None of you were able to tell me which coffee is the last one.
Dalgona.
Yeah, that's correct. It's Dalgona. Okay, and with that, I think you can add descriptions to it. Definitely add a p tag here, and then the descriptions will be right over here. But for this short code, I really wish if I were able to tell you guys how HTML and CSS work, how they link together. We can definitely add a footer, but I don't think so. We have time for that, and it's better that we have a Q&A and you guys ask your questions, because that is much more important than adding a footer. Right? Okay, ask your questions. If anyone have any questions, you guys can ask them, or just no one. Okay, so I think that all of us are really smart with HTML and CSS, right? Nothing to ask. So just so that the guys, so just you guys know, you can simply type a footer / footer, just like that, and you can add your footer right over there. Okay, you can simply do the footer now. I think if you were focusing a little bit, this should be much more easy right now.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In the footer tag, how to add that copyright symbol?
Okay. let's say type a ampersand, okay, type copy, put a semicolon, and h1 great. Just a second, okay, I will do it completely then. Okay, cafe. If we go on the bottom, we see some space, but we don't see the tag, right? So style color hash. Oops, it refreshes a lot, I guess. Do you see that icon? See, that's the copyright icon, I guess you were talking about, right? Simply type
Yeah.
ampersand, type copy, put a semicolon. You get the copy icon, copyright actually.
Uh,
Any
yeah, I want to learn how to make the top what to say navigation bar type, like in which is it in home about section.
okay. Previously, someone asked that they wanted this great cafe don't fade away. They wanted it to stick on the top, right? And I told them to use the position sticky. That's the exact answer for your. If you put a position sticky to something, it will just stay on the top of side, right? And then it can act as a navigation bar. Just add a position and add sticky to it. It would be really awesome if you guys can mute your mic if you ain't asking any questions. Okay. I would like to end this with inspect. Remember that in the starting I showed you this console, right? What is this? Let's just quickly see what it is. Because if you are a web developer and you don't know how to do the inspect, then FYI, it is necessary. Right click on it, click on the inspect, and then you can see all these elements right away, right? Elements, source, network, performance, memory, all these, right? In the elements, you can see the HTML code of the website. Okay, you can see the complete HTML code of the website. And if you go to the network section, here you can see all the packets and all that were coming. That isn't actually our concern, but here you can see that they have created a head. Inside the head they have script tag, right? They have some meta tags. I wanted to show you guys meta tags, but never mind. This is how you link a CSS file. You type link rel, and in the ref you type the path of your CSS file. Their title, this title they say, they write here CSS gradient is shown here on the top, right? If you can see CSS gradient, right? All these meta tags that you see right over here is for search engine optimization, so Google can rank your website, okay? And so the Google can understand, right? Whose website is this, what is the content of the website, right? So for these kind of purposes we have meta tags. These are the script tags for the JavaScript. And right with the help of inspect you can see all the source code of the websites. And that's all I wanted to tell you guys, okay? One more thing, if you guys are going to be web developers, okay, then it is pretty good. If you are going into data science, machine learning, or any other field, right, then you also need to understand about web development. I'm not just saying it because I'm a web developer. If you need data for your models to train on, for your regression or classifier, any model to train on, you will need a lot of data. Lot of data is available on websites. If you don't know how websites are built, how can you extract the data from the website, right? So website development or web development is actually necessary for all. Either you are from ML, AI, data science, data analysis, or actually a web developer. If you guys have any doubts, you can ask them right now. Yes. Yes, you are at all.
Yeah, we can take a snapshot of our team so that we can show our community bonding.
So whoever was listening, if you guys wanted to pop up, I think you guys can also open it to your cameras.
Yes, you could stop sharing your.
Oh, okay. Just a second. Okay, that's a very good background.
You can even change your backgrounds. There is an option of edit background. There is three dots you would be seeing, and there is an option of apply background effects. Click on that. Your background would be like mine if you are able to see me.
We are able to see you, and I can say the background is pretty good.
Thanks. That's
है कोई हिम्मत वाला खोल रहा है कैमरा? Anyone?
some have opened the camera. Thank you guys for being with us.
Where is three dots? Able
Next
to
to
see.
share screen option. More actions you would be there. So guys, you can just now off your camera. And now we would start with the question section.
Should we leave the meeting?
No, we are going to have a quizzing session. You should be a part of meeting. And I would like to request you to just switch off your cameras.
So
guys,
the
so
quiz
guys,
section.
I think that my screen would be visible to you. So you could join in at kahoot.it and you could enter this game pin. And the most important thing is that you should enter with your full name, the name which you through which you did registration. Yeah, like the first player has come up. Cool. Waiting for more to join in.
Are we also joining?
Yeah, you can. I would also request. But Ashish, I don't want you to answer all the questions.
Yes, I am going to do that.
Creative Penguin 99. I would like to request you to join with your original name. Because in case if you even win, we won't be able to give you the certificate, the prize. Creative Penguin 99. If you are hearing me, please join in with your real name.
So there is a reason why we are asking for real names. If let's say you Mr. Penguin win, right? And then I say I am Mr. Penguin, I need the offer then.
Yeah, right. I will not be able to identify you.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Speak up.
Sir, I'm not able to enter my whole name in the Kahoot. So should I skip my middle name or something?
Yeah, what's your name?
Sir, I'm not able.
What's your
Varun
name?
Shyam Gupta.
Varun
Varun Shyam
Shyam.
Gupta.
Okay, so you enter Varun Gupta and just DM me your whole name. Like I entered with Varun.
What are we supposed to do?
Varun, you are fine. Varun Shyam, GOP. We can understand that. You just wait for a minute. We would start this, and it would be like a quizzing session.
So it has not started yet.
No, no. Let more participants to
Okay.
join in. So there would be a
Okay.
question and then four answers. You would be given 20 or 10 seconds, or in some questions 30 seconds. So we would be able to just know at the within few seconds only who is our winner after the end of 15 questions.
Any questions in this quiz?
Does it work on phones?
Yeah, it would work. You just click on kahoot.it and enter the same game pin.
I did.
Dhruv, can you scroll up?
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Owl. Just in case you win, let me be clear that it would not give you any voucher.
Hello, Dhruv.
Yeah.
Can you scroll up? I want to check my name.
Yeah. Okay, Munna Michael. Cool to have you here.
Yeah, thanks.
Mr. H. Mr. Rag is Raghav, I guess. Raghav? Oh, it's not you. So, Mr. Rag, you are already out of the competition. Oh, Nick Fury. Cool. You are also out of the competition. Yeah. And one more thing, that if in case you have come up here and you have not registered in our form, so that would also not count you to be a part of our winning.
What form?
Registration form. But those are
No. Here is the
yeah.
link.
Okay, so I guess that you
Which
could not
registration form?
The registration form which you guys must have filled in the starting.
Yeah, right.
Today we
Okay.
haven't shared.
Okay, so in
Dhruv,
that
please
case,
share the link again.
no, I think that if you have contact to Raghav, then that's fine. You could,
Yesterday,
yeah.
Yeah, I want to confirm about the learning platform. You are having only ProGate as a learning platform, or there are some
Yeah,
other?
we are having Prograde currently.
Raghav, let's start.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, see what you guys got.
That's quite easy, I guess. Oh, so I think now we should move to the next question.
There was no question.
You could see the screen. If there is issue with the network, you could see the screen.
There was no question.
I just saw four shapes. That's my question. Where is the question?
Sir, I'm going with my phone and one tab is open for this Kahoot and one tab is open for this. I can't see both tabs at the same time.
Is there supposed
Okay.
to be a question because there are only shapes?
Okay. So that's a network issue, I guess, at your end.
No, sir. Actually, I'm at phone. I'm on phone
Out of
and
the quiz.
I'm.
Yeah, split screen must be okay.
So now the page reloaded. I'm out of the quiz now.
Dhruv, can you read the answers? Like red
Okay.
for text align.
Okay. So the answer is text align middle, the red one. Text fit center, the blue one. Margin dot auto, the yellow one. Text align center, the green one. Okay, so 22 are correct. So the first one is Rangel Omer. So next question. How opacity affects the DOM? So the red option says that applies on child element. The blue option says that applies on parent element. The yellow option says that applies on child and parent. The green option says that it causes no effect.
What was the question again?
How opacity affects DOM?
Again, I lost.
So the next question is, what are the possible values of opacity? So the red option says that 0, 1, 0.5. The blue option says low, medium and high. The yellow option says -1, -2 and 1. So 22 are correct. So the next question is it necessary to define the title in HTML? So the two options are yes and no. The red one says yes, the blue one says no.
Okay. Harsh Garg. Okay.
So the next question is how to align an element horizontally. So the answers are the red option is margin auto, the blue options are flow colon center, the yellow options are paddling colon center, the green options are margin left 50%. The next question is which color is this? Hashtag 1F, 1F, 1F. So red option says red, blue option says blue, yellow option says black, and green option says gray.
I'm so proud of you all.
So the next question is when is the alt tag displayed? So the red option says when internet is slow, the blue option says the when image can't be loaded, the yellow option says when the server response is 404, the blue option says when image is very small. So 26 are correct. So that's a quite high number. So the next question is, which type of CSS is this? Okay. Inline CSS, inside CSS, internal CSS, or inferior CSS?
What was the question again?
Which type of CSS is this? Hey, inline CSS, inside CSS, internal CSS, and inferior CSS. So 14 are correct. Now the next question is how to change the font style. The red option says font style. The blue option says font type. The yellow option says font style too. The green option says font decoration. So the next question is, why is star used in CSS? Red option says to apply CSS on all elements. Blue option says to apply CSS in body. The yellow option says to apply CSS in div. The green option says to not apply given rules. So 23 are correct. So we are here for 13th question. How to apply CSS with ID? So the red option says hashtag ID. The blue option says slash ID. The yellow option says dot ID. The green option says star ID. So we have got 40 answers as of now. 42 answers. And 22 of them are correct. So the next question says how to fix a scroll of a background image in CSS. So the red option says background attachment fixed. The blue option says background fixed center. The yellow option says background position center. The green option says none of the above. So 18 are correct. So the next question is, what is the full form of JS? The red option says JavaScript. The blue option says JavaScript. The blue option says JavaScript. I guess you would know. I guess the last question is done. Okay, the first one is Munna Michael, but he would not be awarded with anything because he didn't join with his real name that I have already mentioned at the starting of the quiz. So the first one is M. Venkatesh, the second one is Prachi Nagpura, and the third one is Satyam Bhatia. Okay guys, like, thank you for joining in our quiz. So I guess
Sir, what about the certificate?
Sir, please, Kahoot spoiled a lot of our
Maybe don't use Kahoot next time.
Sir, a lot not in English, sir. Don't use
yeah,
Please,
we won't be
check.
using Kahoot for the next time. It was completely out of box situation for us too. We didn't knew that this situation would come up, and we would prefer the same pattern like Google Docs, like we did yesterday for our quiz.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
And you can yeah, and yeah, to add to this, I would like to say that if we learn something out of the session, the writing a blog is the best thing to implement that, because writing a blog help us to get what we have learned, and it has even helped the readers who would be reading our blogs in future. So that adds a plus point to your portfolio too, and you are even doing something for the community. And Raghav, could you share that how many people have registered for the certificate? You can see in the Google form. Yeah.
I have registered yesterday for the Google form, but not today.
Yesterday we didn't share any. Today we shared one form in the chat. We even made an announcement that you could fill it. We are sharing it again if you have not filled it for certificate purpose. So we would.
Yes, sir,
Please
yes, sir.
share
I
it again.
think I missed the form. Please share
Uh,
it again.
yeah, I'm sharing it again in this chat section of Team chat. So we would be giving certificates to those participants only who have attended the session till the last. So the form is being shared. You have 5 minutes. Yeah.
I have a question now. Actually, I made a website few months ago and I was having some problem in it, CSS. So, the the way he made tabs today of different coffees, I made similar tabs on that website too, but they were not arranged properly. I don't know why, and I have checked that code over and over, and I have made my seniors check it too, and they everybody confirmed that it was correct, but still I was not able. But still, those tabs were stuck there. Like they were not arranged evenly, and two tabs were covering a space, and I had enough space for the third tab to fit in, but it didn't. I don't know why. So, can you tell me what can be the issue there?
I guess that even if the width was fixed, I guess you have must provided some margin, and that's why they were not getting aligned.
Checked that code over and over, and I've made my seniors check it too, and they
Okay, thank you.
everybody confirmed
I'll
that
check
it
it.
was correct, but still I was not able. But still those tabs were stuck there, like they were.
Ashi, if you could reply to that doubt, I guess.
I think I replied. I said that they must have provided some margin from the left or right hand side, and that's why even they are seeing the space, they are not able to shift the box into that space. Check out if there is some extra margin left.
Thank you.
Ashi, if you could reply to that doubt, I guess.
I think I replied. I said that they must have provided some margin, some margin. The reason is they must have opened YouTube along with this. Shift the box into that. Check out if there is some extra margin left.
Dhruv, there is no link for the form in the WhatsApp group.
So those who have been part, yeah.
But my chat is not opening.
It's opening for everyone. Brother. Like you could,
There is no option for the chat.
there is a message type icon available next to the raise your hand option. So those who have been part,
No, I
yeah.
don't have that icon.
Okay, you could personally ping Raghav for the form. Okay.
Okay.
Any other queries, guys, or we should end this session? Yeah, Raghav.
Thanks a lot for being such an awesome audience.
Next to the raise your hand option. So you have been part.
No, I
Yeah.
don't